The name says 100x. So there has been growth, right? Please give it up for the growth of 100x, guys. Come on, loud yeah. He pioneered India's first venture firm to invest in iSafe notes, reshaping early stage investing, right? Known for backing breakout consumer brands and tech disruptors like, of course, Sanjay sir, we'd like to share your best and favorite till now. Who's your best and favorite investments till now?
Favorite investor.
Your favorite investments?
Investment.
Yes.
Many of them.
Let's say you top three.
D2C, box set,
Box it.
Warmo.
And one more?
Oyo.
Ritesh would have felt really bad if he hadn't heard the name. Right? He needs no introduction. Please give it a legend on stage here, guys. Right? We've always talked about new age brands in the last so many years, right? Do we know how difficult it is to build a legacy brand? Right? Because a legacy brand has to reinvent themselves every now and then to stay relevant and still do business. Right? Next on stage, can I have Gaurav on stage, please? Gaurav, please give it up, Gaurav. He's the MD of Cello World. Gaurav is the force behind one of the most iconic home and lifestyle brands, Cello World. With an eye for innovation and operational excellence, he's played a key role in transferring Cello from a legacy household brand into a modern omni-channel powerhouse. Gaurav, I have so many products in my home from your brand, man. I hope you give free product now. My wife is going to be really happy. I'm going to get some free product. Right? Please give it up for the Fireside, guys. Abhishek, all yours.
Thanks a lot, Rajat. Hi everyone, good evening. Great to see all of you here on Saturday evening. And as usual, this is one of our regional CXO meets, and as usual, it's great to see so many young founders as well as seasoned founders all coming together to exchange, knowledge and to network and to share, their experience, right? So I think it's a great platform for everyone to, get inspiration from each other. And I think entrepreneurship is a very lonely journey, so this is a great forum for all of us to take inspiration. And thanks a lot to Gaurav and Sanjay sir for making it here today evening. Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks, Gaurav. And both of them have traveled very far, actually, from Rathod and Goregaon. And both have been part of the ecosystem, and Gaurav has been part of a very large legacy brand called Cello, which is now a listed brand. And Sanjay sir, obviously, as you know, has been a prolific angel investor and then now running a VC firm. So the idea of this fireside chat was to get perspectives from both sides on what does it really take to build for the long run, right? And very contrasting views also from an investor point of view versus a builder point of view. And I'll start with you, Gaurav. What does it really take, to build a legacy brand across generations? Because we are talking about a lot of new age brands here, right? A lot of them are also, in that growth mode, and it's always a race to the bottom, right? How do you reach 100 crores and every VC is asking the ARR kitna hai, everyone is chasing top line. This is something like Cello, which has been built over decades, right, and profitable, right? And I'm sure you guys would have also gone through lots of ups and downs, right, in that journey, right? But what does it really take, to build something which can outlast you, because a brand by definition is something which can outlast you, right? So we'd love to have your journey of Cello, of what has been the learnings and what do you think really, what can be the takeaway for some of the new age brands here, how they should look at brand building?
Sure. So I think, our journey as a company started way back. It was actually 1962 when my great grandfather started the company. Though it was very different back then. It was, we used to do footwear and PVC bangles and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, very different kind of a product line. And so my grandfather started from there, and then in 1985 my father joined it, and he went to the US. So my grandfather he actually sent him. He's like, just go travel, see what you can get out there, what is happening in the world. And back then India was a closed economy, so there was not much imports that were coming in. So he went there. He got the famous hot pot that we have today, casserole, which was non-existent back then, and a lunch bag, right? These were two things that India was not really carrying in the same fashion. So he came back, globalized the product a little bit, and it was a success. Back then, of course, the clutter was limited. And so he did that. Then my uncle came into the business. We wanted something else for him to do, right? So he came in, he learned the plastic business, and he started stationery. And then again, it became a big game. And the journey went on. Every 5 to 6 years, we kept on introducing newer product lines. We went into steel flask manufacturing. Then when I joined in about 12, 13 years back, I started glassware, which was again an extension of our current consumer product line. But our customers were similar, so there was a lot of synergies, with our distribution, with our end consumer. And we are known for our household home products, and it fit in, extremely well.
Yeah, you guys are like a household staple, right? Everyone would be using a cello.
I think every household will have one product at least. So I guess by reintroducing and reinventing ourselves every time, we've been able to be relevant in the market for about almost 4 decades since my dad came in, and before that, of course, the product lines were very different. And I think being very customer focused, customer centric in terms of evolving the product from generation to generation. Before it was a pure play, say, plastic product. Now it is plastic with a steel inside. The price point has also gone up. Glass products as well, because that's where the next generation is moving. And I think to keep up with that is extremely important. So I think because we've been able to do that, that really helped. And I think secondly, the kind of freedom that you get as an entrepreneur. When say I entered, or my uncle entered, or my dad entered, the freedom was there to go and experiment, go and try to launch newer product lines rather than doing what is already being done. So I think that gives you that freedom, and that is why across generations we've been kind of able to grow the business while keeping the core ethos. The actual cultural lens is the same. Very bottom line focused company still. Revenue is only grown when it comes sustainably. So I think those are the key principles that we still follow. And I think because of that, this across generations we've been able to grow this company quite sustainably.
Yeah, I remember when we met first time, you mentioned that Cello has always been profitable year on year. There has not been a single year you guys have actually made a loss, right?
No, I think never. I think in the whole history, even when it started, we were bootstrapped, right? It was never that we took a loan from a bank or even raised capital. It was only recently up to 2023, and that was also not because we needed the money to grow the company. It was more so that it gives us more access to capital to grow inorganically in the future, because India as it is growing at a certain pace. It's not growing extremely fast, and we are a very India-focused brand. Our exports are limited. So for us, it made more sense now to go explore newer age companies and work in a different way.
Super, I think it's a great story, and I think a lot of fundamentals, for new age brands coming in. Always look at bottom line, not just top line, right? And Sanjay sir, I would like to ask you, here is a legacy brand which has been built over decades, and you have been in the business of spotting brands so early, like doing DC, you are like the first check for all these brands, right? So how do you actually spot someone who's going to be the next seller? What do you look at, and what is the secret sauce there?
It is very difficult guesswork. You start identifying 10 companies, out of which 8 will fail and 2 will succeed.
Right. How many 9 will fail?
And 2 will succeed. So you need to invest into 10 companies or 20 companies. So you cannot be sure of
But no one can predict what will happen.
how it will become. For example, boxing. Earlier, it was called poncho.
Right.
It was Mexican cuisine. Then it became boxing. IT founder Anshul Naman,
Right. All the founders are from IT.
and they were they pivoted. They pivoted into boxes. So, startup, nobody, founder has to be good. For example, our company, which is called Kerala Banana.
Right. That came in Shark Tank.
Manas, you go to Kerala Banana Chips. We told him to move to Mumbai. He moved
Okay.
from Kerala. He was called Kerala Banana Chips. It's called Beyond Snack.
Right. Now it's called your science. Yeah. So they are also part of our community. They've been also part of our goodie bags.
But many examples like that. Bansiwala, Peta, it's a product which is not Peta is not known like that on a brand basis. Now with brand packaging, everything, it took time to grow, but it has grown significantly.
Right.
You see Bansiwala, that packaging is grown like crazy. So brands have to be there.
Yeah, so you say basically, it's a hit or miss, right? Brands are a hit or miss. If you invest in 10 companies, maybe 3 will work out. And basically, primarily it's an early stage, it's a founder bet.
You take the founder. 80% is about founder.
Right. No, absolutely makes sense because any business will go through pivots like Gaurav mentioned. Cello went through so many phases, right? So, and through generations, different folks from the family have been able to come and build it out, right? So eventually it's about who's behind it more than the market and how much money you have and all of that. Right? Makes sense, but from an investor lens, you're saying that you have to be ready to write off 8 out of 10. There's no other secret sauce to it.
You have to invest in at least 20 companies. Then you will make money. If you invest in one or two, it will not work.
Right.
You have to invest in 20 companies, minimum.
Right.
I have done
You
so
have done like
many,
3
more than that. But you invest in minimum 20 companies.
Right. No, great. So, Gaurav, coming back to you, now because you are also like a new age founder within the larger group, right? And I'm sure you will have a different thought process from how business was built, traditionally, right? And now you come to these forums and you meet all these young brands, all these new age brands. They all VC funded, So, what's your view there? Like, do you think the playbook of Cello is replicable today in today's era? Or do you think this is the right way to build a brand? Or is VC funding, basically, not be profitable at a bottom line level initially? That's the typical VC playbook, right? You build customer demand to a certain scale, and then you become profitable, at that scale, right? Versus like the old way of making it, where you were profitable from day one, right? So, what do you think? Like, does the East make the West? Is there a midway? Or do you align with this philosophy of building brands and all?
So I can't fully comprehend it because I've not done it. Because we've been taught to be profitable from day one. But of course, having said that, of course, I was privileged to have a platform where I already had a brand and then I introduced products inside the brand. So building that became slightly easier. But having said that, I think the unit economics has to work in any product line. If on day one, if that is not working, then it's a fail today or tomorrow. You're just elongating that process of failure. So I think having a clear vision, having some kind of competitive advantage, maybe today, or maybe something that you can foresee that you will build over time, is extremely critical before you go down that path. Because raising money is easier today, right? He also says that 8 out of 10 more investments that I make will fail.
Right.
So I think there is a lot of money going around today, but it has to be used very wisely. Because building brands is not a joke in India. Because in India it's getting tougher as well. also the TAM that we always talk about, that we have 1.4 billion people.
Yes, that's the
It's a lie that has been told to us, right? We have, so our addressable
India is a
market.
big market. I mean, we are a billion plus people.
Yeah, but the problem is India is not a very consumerism focused market. Consumerism in India grows very slowly.
One second. You ask for book my show. Their tickets. People buy from theater because charges are there. So you pay the charges. These are the target audience.
Right. So you say the actual consumer base is very small.
Very small.
Yes.
For brands.
Absolutely. So consumer basis, I would say in India it's about 250 million if you're in the mass segment. If you're in the niche segment, then it keeps going down and down and down from there. So I think that is our addressable market. Second of all, in that addressable market, there are a lot of people who want to come in. So there is always a challenge of competition, and sometimes it becomes unhealthy competition because somewhere, say we've grown to a scale. Now someone new is starting up, his overheads are lower. Sometimes he's being able to push that product through for a year or two, he'll not earn anything, but eventually die again. So I think we need to look at sustainability. Even us as a brand, we are looking at how can we now differentiate certain product lines that we probably built 20 years back, but now some product lines are not sustainable. So we keep getting out of products. So we say, okay, this is not making gross margins for us or making less gross margins. Let's get out of this product, introduce a new product, or maybe scale a product in terms of premiumizing it, but still focus on a price point. Because India is still very, very price conscious. Above a certain level, it's impossible to sell a product in India. So, I look at, from my perspective as a brand, I look at it that if a category is growing, it's growing at about 8 to 10%. And I think we should live with that. That's the growth rate of India. India will grow. There is no doubt about the fact that India will not grow. But the growth rate is limited. So what you have to kind of do is horizontally keep growing. So say you are in one vertical. So say we were into plastic products. From there we ventured into stationery. From stationery we ventured into glass.
You need to keep increasing your
Horizontally in India, if you are India focused, I would say first of all never be only India focused. Look at the world today. Because the good part is now you have access to the world in terms of...
Yeah, you can actually sell from India to the world.
Absolutely. And I think new age brands should look at it from that lens, not only selling India.
Right, but you'll have to first establish yourself in one market and then look at more markets.
No, the idea is competitive advantage. So if you have a competitive advantage, you can sell. Crocs did it in one day. It launched all around the world. It was a good product. So the product spoke for itself.
Right. So Sanjay sir, from your point of view, because you have been investing in so many companies, and obviously anyone raises money because they need that capital to scale, to grow, they might not be profitable on day one, right? So how do you look at it, especially from a consumer lens? Because you also do a lot of tech investments, you also do a lot of SaaS, tech, all of that. Versus here in consumer, it's a very different playbook, right? Compared to tech, because tech is very expensive to build, right? But consumer, like I said, unit economics is not negotiable. But we see a lot of new age D2C brands which are leading even at unit economic level. But they're getting a lot of VC funding, right? Because the idea is here, let's pump and scale and then eventually we'll make money, right? Which is typically the tech playbook, right? But might not apply to the consumer business, right? So because you've done both, how do you look at it? Do you think unit metrics should be non-negotiable on day one? Or do you think it's okay to burn and grow and then eventually make money?
It's okay to burn. Till Series C is okay to burn.
So like Gaurav is saying that if unit metric level पे profitable नहीं हो, it is a problem.
If the startup, if Flipkart, it was losing money.
No, absolutely. I'm talking about consumer brands. Flipkart sir is a retailer, tech platform, obviously.
I'm giving you an example. You do it, cello for example,
Right.
so many years. If you 30 years, you want to do it in 3 years, 5 years, you will have to make
I disagree to, I agree with him at a level where there is scalability. So Flipkart, there was scalability, right? In D2C brands, scalability is not there. You can build to a certain scale very quickly, but I think patience is the key in D2C brands. Because as I said, even in so many years, we have had to shut businesses, open businesses. Otherwise, I could have been in some other, more turnover than what we are doing today. So the idea is that you have to be profitable at a consumer brand, because today for me to increase 20 rupees MRP in a certain product that is selling very high is very difficult. So tomorrow you cannot raise prices. You think that okay, I am selling at X rupees today. Tomorrow I'll sell X plus 1. In the Indian context, it is a very difficult thing to do unless you have a competitive advantage where your product is speaking for itself.
For example, let's say I've got a company called AB Coffee.
Right. That's part of your performance.
It is doing so good. Series B funnel. They are growing like crazy. D2C, they build the product. They are burning, but they are growing.
Right.
They are growing like crazy.
Right. So I think that's where the playbook works. Where I think if someone is able to get scale and bond, then it makes sense.
Yes.
If you're not getting scale by bonding, then it is not a good idea.
Simple math is there. If you are not profitable by 50%, then you are dead. You have to grow by 50%.
Right. And sir, you mentioned something at the start that basically it's a founder bet, right, from your end. Can you help us understand what are some of the characteristics? What do you look at in the founder? What is the DNA or what is the characteristics you're looking at? How do you define who's a good founder to bet on? Especially when you're meeting someone for the first time. Most people seek bets. It's not like you know the founder very well, right? So it's more like gut call more than I'm assuming that.
It takes at least 3 meetings and 6 calls to finalize a deal. Which happens and it moves ahead, then you have to first see if the founder can grow and truthful to the business. If it is, for example, if the founder very good at that, but sure, then it will not work.
But sir, how do you judge that in the initial?
You will know out of so many companies, you will make mistakes, but you will know, very sure you will know. In 100 companies, 2 or 3 will be wrong, but overall you will be right. But founder has to be, you have to bet on the founder.
You're betting on the jockey, basically. So Gaurav, I wanted to ask you, how's been your role? Because we came into a legacy family business, and you mentioned you got a lot of freedom, right? So that's obviously a great thing. But that's not typically how you look at when you hear about family businesses and a lot of the next generation. I think there is a big news on the VIP thing, right? Where Dilip, he's basically given a statement. My next generation is not interested in the business, right? And there's a whole theme around it on why the next generation is not looking to come back to the businesses. But in your case, you successfully integrated into your business and you've had a decade-long journey now, right? So what do you think, are the things which these family businesses need to do to attract back their next generation and to take their businesses forward?
I think when I hear a lot of course stories from my friends who've been around who have not joined their family businesses. I think the key reason has been a lot of interference from the older generation and the freedom that is not provided, or they want them to do it in their way. And I think that is something that stifles a lot of enthusiasm in a founder, right? Even if a startup founder is told to do everything in a certain way, he'll not be able to do it. So I think every new generation has to be treated like a startup. And I think, being given that freedom to fail to a small
But that generally doesn't happen in family businesses, right?
and that's where they fail, right? That's where the next generation is not, wanting to come into, because they've all made their wealth, they have enough money outside, so they don't have a problem of money anywhere, right? So so to attract that, there has to be enough enthusiasm built within, and you have to condition them from a very early age as well, right? I was conditioned, for example, I used to go to my dad's office when I was a child, and I started loving the products. I started loving what he was doing, and I think that also makes a lot of difference. And plus, when you come into the
Did you go out for studies or something?
I did. I was in the US. I was at Bentley University. So I was there for 3 years. So in spite of being outside, so a lot of my friends actually stayed back. Right? Never came back. So, but the idea was that because when I came in, I was given something new, and I was told to start something new. I was actually forced to start something new rather than do what they've been doing. Because if you don't go through that journey, you never learn the whole thing.
Right.
So from manufacturing to selling to collecting money to kind of growing the portfolio was completely done by me. So I think that kind of helped me to kind of look at a business holistically. And I think that's where that transition is very smooth. If the transition between generations is a little iffy or it's not very smooth, then I think that's where we see a lot of downfall of a lot of good legacy business.
Yeah, so in that case, it's better to maybe exit than force the next generation.
If the next generation is not ready for it, you have to give to professional management.
Right.
You enjoy the fruit of the brand.
Right.
You don't exit. You give to professional management. You will get a MD. He will run it.
Yeah, that's the alternative.
So yeah, that is the alternative. But in India, very good managers, professionals are tough to find. And it depends on business to business. Some businesses are easily professionalized. You can professionalize easily. Consumer businesses are slightly tougher. I don't. It can be, of course, done. A lot of people have done it. But it's slightly difficult because of the pulse of the market. And plus, if you get those people, if you're lucky to get good professionals, then 100% you can do it.
Like, for example, Mahindra, they've got so many business.
Yeah, Mehta is like a common.
They hire right people and they grow. Pretty like.
Yeah.
They hire and they grow.
Absolutely.
Right. No, absolutely. I think we have a very impatient audience here. So what I'll do is now I'll cut this short and I'll open it up to the audience. I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions to ask to Gaurav and Sanjay sir. So guys, please go ahead. If you have any questions, please raise your hand and please go ahead and just introduce yourself briefly and then you can go ahead and ask shoot your question.
I have a question for Gaurav.
Please go ahead.
Gaurav, you come from a business which is very traditional business, right? Where you see competition not only from, let's say, players, but also from materials, right? There has this story of how Stanley turned it around in your category, right? So how do you feel that innovation in product, especially if it is something very mundane, right, to appeal to the next generation of buyers? Because let's say, I am 41, my generation knows fellows, please buy. I know, मुझे अपने घर की रोटी सेलो की कैशरों पे रखनी है, मुझे डॉलर सेलो की रखनी है. But the next generation, where the demand is slightly different than my generation, how do you keep up to cater to that demand, right? Because that demand is shaping very differently every day.
So I think you rightly mentioned, I think product is key there. Evolving the product is extremely important. So that is why I have always ventured into new product lines. So say today a casserole is not only a normal casserole, we also have a glass casserole, right? So that is the trend. So some things are trend, some things are a fad, and some things are products that are sustainable for very long. So I think we don't look at fads only, but look at products that can, remain for at least the next 5 to 10 years. So I think always we are looking for, when you talk about Stanley, Stanley is a very different market. The US is the market, right? US is a very gimmicky market. Everything sells, anything sells, right? India is a very price conscious market, still. A small, though we keep innovating.
What is the price of value?
I think it is a little bit of both. Perceived value is more important, not value. I would say it's perceived value. In the US, everything goes viral very quickly, and it gets picked up as a trend, and it becomes an overnight success. In India, even if you make a great product, which we keep doing, though it might go viral for a bit, it is very muted.
The actual conversion.
The actual conversion is not that big. So I think that is the difference.
But let's say, give you an example of Stanley, right? Now there are so many myths of Stanley as a product. The shape of slipper, right? There is, I can tell you from 3 brands. There is a brand for, I think it's not wrong, House of Ford, right? Then there is another brand, I'm forgetting its name, something to see. It's only making Stanley sort of model, right? As a legacy brand, do you feel these fads are something that you need to cash on because it is profitable?
Absolutely. So I think when Stanley came up with that, I think in the next 2 weeks we had the product. so
I think they should acquire some of these, right? That would be better.
That's why the last question. To Sanjay sir, Sanjay should be acquired these brands.
Always invest.
Very rightly said. Any questions?
Guys, go ahead if you have any questions.
Yeah, Rahul.
Thank you very much for a lovely discussion on the panel. Insightful, especially from an investment side as well as from a family legacy side. If I may ask Gaurav, from a family legacy side, when you're creating new brands as such, in this consumer world that is super cluttered right now, there are so many brands coming up. How do you really build brand love in that? Because it's not always the best product that wins. But brand love, what do you do to create that brand love?
So I think brand love comes from 2-3 different parameters, right? So one is of course the product and how you evolve, as I said, that with every generation you need to evolve your product, change your product according to their taste. So always being relevant is extremely important. Second is that when someone is say holding a cello bottle, for example, what they feel or how that makes them feel is extremely important. So the identity of that bottle is extremely important. Right? So I think those 2 parameters are key for brand love. And of course sustainability over so many years. So I think just by being in the shelf for about 4 decades, that itself is the biggest attribute. So I don't think the brand requires more advertisement. Just if you are in a shop, if you're going online, going on an Amazon, seeing the product on the top page, that itself is good enough for a lot of brands like us which are known by the brand name, but just by the visibility, you are able to create a lot of brand love that is there for generations.
You have to continuously market. You have to continuously market. What they are successful is marketing. They are not sleeping brand. They are alive.
Exactly, and I think there is no bigger marketing than just being across channels, just being out there. I think that we don't spend a lot of money on promotions, but we spend a lot of money on the shelf space or at the point of sale.
Right.
Any other questions from the audience? Yes, ma'am. I'll come there. Or name and then what?
Hi, I'm Anil Jonathan. I actually head community at Shah. So yeah, I just have a quick question with respect to the promotions part of it, right? You spoke about how you prefer to keep your majority of your investments in the shares and not promotions. But now, like you did mention that India is such a market where you're so heavily influenced by digital. And what are your points as to how is Cello sort of making up for the entire promotion bit? And do you believe that in the future you would want to sort of diversify your investments and probably pay a little more for your promotions?
No, I think digital is a great source, right? Before we used to do advertisements through say TV advertisements, or you would go print media, which was very expensive. So digital actually kind of opens up a space for us as well, which we actively promote through. And I think it's a much low cost channel to kind of do promotion. What I was trying to say, of course, there is some certain amount of promotion, but the idea is that just by being, say, on an Amazon, for example, and being on the top page itself is the brand. So that is what I meant when I said promotions.
I'm from a marketing agency, so I'm like
I understand.
influenced right now.
I understand.
Any other questions from the forum? Yeah.
Hi. In the beginning, you started with like you guys create different product line time by time. So what is the right time when you figure out that now you want to venture into something else and then apart from the current product line?
I think we choose product lines as per the timing in the market in terms of how the product life cycle has been, whether we need to introduce a new product. When I'm talking about product, it's in the same product line. So say there is one bottle and we want to do another bottle. One is what is the function of the other bottle? How is it going to be different from the current one? Or has the current bottle kind of met its life cycle? Right? If it met its life cycle, then is the only reason why we would introduce a new product. When you talk about a different product line altogether, say we ventured into glassware, I think that's where we said that okay, the overall growth potential in a certain category is limited. We might only be able to grow at about say 8 to 10% a year. That's when we decide to kind of go into a completely new horizontal vertical. Where we can for a couple of years we can grow at 50-60%, and then of course it normalizes to 10-12% again. So these are the two factors that we keep in mind while expanding either into a new product line itself or launching a new product.
I have one more question. From the family legacy perspective, I'm an offline bias guy. I love distribution. How important has distribution, or what role does distribution and channel relationships play in the build-up of Cello as a brand?
In our case, distribution was very different in the 80s, 90s, 2000, 2010, and now with the digital age. So I think we have of course around 3,000 odd distributors across the country, and for someone now to build it is very difficult. Right? I think that is something that legacy brands possess today, which is very difficult to replicate, and somehow that is also a competitive advantage for us. But having said that, things are changing on the ground. For us today, 15% of our revenue comes from online channels. Quick commerce is starting to become very big for us. About 5% comes from quick commerce now. In just a year, it's crazy the amount of growth that it happened there. And we are also into the modern retail formats, whether it be Reliance or D-Marts. That contributes another 10-12%. And then of course we do export some amount, so that's another 8%. So like this, I think the idea is to leverage and take advantage of each channel that exists out there, and and kind of try to grow each and every channel. So that's been our distribution strategy. Every decade, of course, it keeps on changing and evolving as per how things are moving in India.
Okay, I will ask the last question to Mr. Mehta, it's okay. Sanjay sir, when you invested for the first time in your life, when this world did not exist, why did you invest?
I invested because somebody named Shah Sharma.
Shah Sharma.
You know?
Ice cream, right?
Shah Sharma was the lead inventor. That was my fourth investment in a company named Orange Game, Kiss Pro. I exited well.
So you invested because the country was invested. And then you became invested. Guys, please give it up for the beautiful family area. What an exciting conversation. Right?